like that, threatening rook h8, winning the rook. But after rook e8, I don't know what he's planning to do, really. So king f2, black's gonna take. Once again, even this one, it doesn't look like white can really lose. It's probably just okay. And it's, well, looking more at it, it still looks like black has to be careful. In fact, black has to be careful because white is very stable. White always has some opportunities for a perpetual.
And he walks out?
Yeah, he walks out, in fact, with 6 minutes. Walks out with 6 minutes.
So Shakhriyar Mamedyarov briefly left the hall. 6 minutes on the clock. That
Yeah, but
and his opponent is still thinking, so that's not a problem.
and could be another sort of psychological way, like it put some extra pressure on Karjakin. So
Well, maybe
pretend he was so happy with my position that
it may be a much-needed toilet break.
yeah, that's much of a. So rook c2. Anyway, rook c2 is played, and I don't really want to give an e2 pawn.
But I think everyone was so surprised that he rushed out. I didn't see any arbiter joining him, which I think normally should be the case.
That's right.
Yes, and what are we seeing in Wei Yi against Peter Svidler?
Well, not so many moves, and Wei, well, still with 4 minutes, but he's back to his habit of spending more time than his opponent. Although this time, at least, his position changed in the favorable way. Queen g4, king h7 played by Svidler. So now it's about the time for a knight to join the action, but considering that black knight seemingly cannot leave because of rook h5, so I would strongly consider something like knight f3 if it works. Because, well, not that I'm threatening anything, but well, possibly knight e5. So if knight f3 works, so with the point being that black can't really, or can he? I mean, if black goes somewhere with his knight, it can be once again rather tricky. Yeah, he played rook d8 because it's there. Yeah. Knight h3, and after rook h5, it could be that black takes f2, attacking the queen. And if it's check, it's counter check. That's the problem. Although there was knight g5 check, and maybe that would be really bad for black. I don't know. It's gone. It's gone anyway. It's rook d8.
Yeah. So lots of tricks to watch in this position.
Rook d8 was played, and g6 quickly. But still, this queen is stuck on h6. So that's what I don't really like about Peter's position. His queen stuck on h6 and not likely to come into play anytime soon. Well, I wonder if white will start taking it sooner or later. I mean, pawn on e5. So if knight f3 doesn't work, then maybe f3 is the move. I mean, to accept the fact that knight is passive on g1, but at least there'll never gonna be anything with rook f2 check. So maybe that's one of the possible practical decisions, just to play f3 and then to hope to start taking.
And again, as we've seen so often before, where he is taking his time, he's thinking for more than a minute again, and
so down to 2 minutes only.
But
in the previous game he proved like he'd been to seconds, in fact, but defended rather convincingly.
And he plays
and he plays f3, right? He plays f3. I mean, right in the way that I've predicted this one. I'm not sure about the objective evaluation, of course, but it's. It goes like that for rapid. I believe at some point you have to switch to just making reasonable moves in times and not looking for.
So the weird thing in this position is this knight on g1 that keeps
Knight
position.
h5 played by Peter Swidler. So knight goes back, and I don't know what he wants, in fact. Knight h5. Yeah, knight on g1 has no moves, but... Well, but shall we... okay, queen g2. I guess we might want to check the other game. It gets really interesting development there. I don't know what's the...
e4.
So after bishop f6, rook c2, I said I would like to defend on e2, but Mamedyarov decided other way around. Check, and he takes on h7 immediately. And now I come to realize that possibly he's calculated the whole line to the end. If black plays this, then it could be that king h3 would mean something for white. I mean, king comes to g6 and rook h8 mate. So, what was played after king h3 was e4, and Mamedyarov goes for king g4, ef3. Well, that's so now king f3 seems winning. No, I guess like he's no. King f3, rook to c2. For a second I thought like he's winning the rook, and indeed he does, but then in this case black will take the bishop, so it leads nowhere. So he can try to once again to go there, to go to g5 and to g6. That of course would be... I guess he thought of that. Could it be that he thought of that one, king g5? I don't know if it was possible. That would be funny.
You mean that?
So now after f2, king g6, you can't defend. You can't defend against rook h8, but probably after king g5, it's rook e4. That could be a problem.
But
and then you
E8,
take, right? I know, king e8, even in the final one. I know, so I'm just stupid, pardon. Yeah, really, this and does look like mate, but it's king e8. Now, I've been looking at this position with rook e8 being played, so that's why. So that's what happens. Once again, I'd say it's a risk-free situation for white. In the worst case, he can go rook h8, take the rook, and it's going to be a draw. But obviously, knowing how brave Shakhriyar is, he will try to play for a win. King g4,
well,
and rook c5. Rook c5, which stops king on g5.
And he may be inspired with all the people, because for the second game there was even, the hall was, well, maybe 50% more spectators, and all coming for him. So
yeah, that's right. So now, after rook h8, for instance, it's already an extra pawn for white. Probably still a draw, but already some chances. And he's obviously looking for more. He got only 1 minute for it, but... Well, I don't know what happens in Swidler's game. I guess he... Well, if at some point I started to be worried if he's not worse, but now it's not the case anymore, it seems.
No.
So he went back, rook f8, and after check, rook f7. So now I'm sure he's not losing the pawn on e5 because of queen f4 check. Knight is still remains passive on g1. Well, it does look like the position is balanced, and well, second draw is rather possible.
Well, but it's by ye.
Yeah, you never know.
So
you never know. It can go actually the other way around. I mean, it can be. Well, where he's gonna find something, and or
enjoy all those moves that he makes with 2 seconds.
Rook d1. Yes, if we get to. So Shakhriyar goes for, well, with 20 seconds on his clock, he goes for the rook endgame pawn up. Well, but this extra pawn is not for long after rook c2. Karjakin gets the pawn back. So now let's maybe look at this one like that. It's Mamedyarov versus Karjakin on our video screen, and then that's going to be a board of Swidler versus VE.
And they
yeah, they simply agree on a draw, so we are left with only one